Hi. My name's Caleb Walker. I'm 17, and I live with my mom and younger brother on a small farm just outside of Billings, Montana. We've been scraping by since Dad passed, 2 years ago this fall. Life isn't easy when you're holding it together with duct tape and prayers. We don't have much, but Mama always says, even if your hands are empty, your heart shouldn't be. And that's how this whole crazy thing started. It was the coldest night of the year. Snow had blanketed the valley like silence, and the wind howled like wolves. I was in the barn checking on our goat, Millie, who just had 2 kids. That's when I heard a noise soft, like someone crying. At first, I thought it was the wind. But then I saw her. She couldn't have been more than 10. Barefoot, wrapped in a torn shawl, skin nearly blue from the cold. Her long black hair was soaked with snow, and her lips were trembling as she clutched her side. She collapsed right there in the straw beside Millie's pen. My heart stopped. I ran to her. Hey! You okay? Can you hear me? No response, just shallow breathing. Without thinking, I pulled off my coat and wrapped her up. But it wasn't enough. So I took off my blanket, the old wool one Grandma made before she passed, and tucked it around her. It was the only thing that ever truly kept me warm in winter. Mama always said we help first and ask later. I picked her up, carried her into our house, and laid her near the stove. Mama gasped when she saw her, half dead from cold, with bruises on her ribs. Turns out she was Lakota. Her name was Wiakpa, which means feather on the wind. She'd been running from something. Or someone. We didn't press. We just gave her soup, bandaged her wounds, and watched over her through the night. She barely spoke, but the way she held my blanket, it felt like she was holding on to hope. The next morning, the sun rose blood orange. The snow glistened like glass. And that's when we saw them. Horses. Riders. So many of them that the ground trembled. 700 Lakota warriors. All lined up. Silent. Proud. Eyes fixed on our little barn. Mama grabbed my arm, terrified. What did you do, Caleb? I didn't know. Then one of them dismounted, a tall man with gray braids and eyes sharp as steel. He stepped forward, holding my blanket. I froze. He knelt in the snow. We do not forget, he said, voice deep as thunder. You gave her warmth. When no one else would. You saw her not as an outcast, but as a child. I looked over his shoulder, and saw Wiakpa standing, alive, wrapped in that same blanket, smiling. The elder stood and held out a bundle wrapped in leather. For your kindness, Caleb Walker. The people offer protection for all your days. And this? Inside was a handcrafted quilt, deep reds and sky blues, feathers stitched into the corners, and beads sewn along the border. It holds the prayers of 700 hearts. Then, just like that, they rode off. Silent as snow. That story made the papers. People came by asking questions, calling me a hero. But I wasn't. I just gave a cold little girl my blanket. Wiakpa still visits sometimes. She calls me Thesina Hoxala, blanket boy. And I keep that quilt above my bed. On nights when the wind howls and I feel like life's too heavy, I touch the beadwork and remember, one kind act can echo louder than 1,000 words. You never know who you're saving with your kindness. Sometimes, it's not just a person, it's a people. A memory. A legacy. And in a world that feels colder by the day, maybe all it takes is sharing your blanket. And